Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Wa sallallahu wa sallam wa baraka ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'in. Wa ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome to our Saturday Night Live podcast discussions with myself, Waseem Ahmed, and we have with us Shaykh Imran Muhammad. We hope you're well. We hope you've been tuning into our previous podcasts and been involved in the topics. Do get involved today, please. Do ask a question, do put a comment in. We'd like to know where you're from, maybe. If you let us know, please, do interact with us, subscribe to the channel, and watch out for our future discussions. Suggest topics as well, please, for the future topics and discussions. But today we've got to go back to what we were talking about last week, which was addictions, and now how to remedy those addictions. And we've got with us Shaykh Imran. So, Assalamu alaikum, Shaykh Saab. How are you?
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, Akhil Aziz. I am fine, I am great, alhamdulillah. I hope and I pray that all of our viewers, alhamdulillah, are energized and inshallah ta'ala ready for this particular conversation today. Today is, of course, a conversation around, we've discussed and spoken about very clearly the different forms of addiction, different forms,
Yes.
what type of impact it has upon the human individual, and how today our intention is to walk down a certain path of recovery, detoxification, realization, acknowledgement कि मेरा कोई काम खराब है उससे मैंने निकलना है इंशाअल्लाह ताला. That is our intention इंशाअल्लाह ताला. So Akhil Aziz,
Alhamdulillah.
tell me, how are you? How's your week? Allah give you barakah.
Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. It is a little damaging at the moment. I got
Oh
a bandage
Allah,
on my,
what have we
split on
done?
my finger. Mountain bike fall. In the current climate where you need to have a bit of exercise and get out of the house, I went not too far from home, actually, just in the garden, and just slipped off and fell. And alhamdulillah, it's a slight fracture, whatever they call it.
Allah
And there's nothing major, alhamdulillah.
Allah
But it's
yashfi.
lack of mobility. Can't really do much with the fingers there now. So
Allah
it's
yashfi.
frustrating more than anything else.
I
But
just-
everything else is fine. Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I've just invested in my first bike of my life.
Subhanallah. Say, well, I didn't invest. I just got a quick one.
Yeah, I have never. No. I have never. Everybody, listen. I have never ridden a
Yeah.
bike. Never done it.
Subhanallah.
Never.
Yeah.
I never learnt it. I never been on a bike. For the last 3 days. No, 3 days. I've got a bike, mountain bike like yourself, and I've started to learn
Okay.
now.
Okay.
I started to learn now. And it's so
At
funny.
25, you're not too old. You're 25, Maulana. It's not too bad.
No, Sidi, I'm much older than you. No, but I'm saying,
Our viewers may believe that.
Allah give you barakah bismillah ta'ala. But let me share with you.
Mashallah.
All right, a boy. Now the amazing thing is, like, I'm trying, like, I don't know how to ride a bike, so I'm having balance issues. I'm having all these issues. I don't know what's
Mashallah,
going on.
mashallah.
I'll be serious with you.
Yeah.
And let me share, Khalazi. Let me share this with you. There's
Go
young
for it,
kids.
go for it.
There's tiny kids. Yeah, they're looking at me, and there's about 3-4 kids. Yeah, they come over, and they've got their bikes, and they can
Yeah.
ride a bike. They can ride a bike, no problem. Okay,
Yeah.
they're looking at me and they go, "You can't ride a bike." I go, "No, I can't." No. The beautiful thing is this: they go to me, "You can't ride a bike." I go, "Yes, I can't ride a bike. I'm learning." And
Yeah.
wallahi, this is no lie. You know what they did? They got to me, "We'll show you." Wallahi.
The kid
No,
will teach you,
lie.
basically.
No, they did. That's what I'm trying to say to you. They got on, he goes, in fact, it's small, it's a young girl, and there was 2 boys with her, and they go to me, "Come on." I go, "No problem." So they showed me how to do that, how to
Wow.
put my foot down, how to put my foot onto the pedal, and how to move forward. And let me share something with you. Wallahi, this is wallahi. I did that. I started to ride the bike. Now, I did. I went around the block, right? First time in my life, I rode a bike. I went around the block. Then you got your injury. I was riding. I was riding, and I smashed bang into a boulder, and I messed up my leg, my left leg. I got smashed.
Allah give you ease and shifa. Allah give you well-being.
You too.
Mashallah.
You too.
Yeah.
So Maulaya,
Yeah.
Ane der ay durust ay.
We've got the youth in us, our dear viewers. You may think, beards are going white in patches, but we've got our youth.
You may say youth. You may say youthfulness. I would call it madness. That's what it is.
Madness. It's a fine line. We don't know what's which. They say between being a genius and crazy person is a very fine line. I think we're somewhere on that line in terms of our bike riding at least. But yeah,
I love you, Shweek.
welcome. Yeah, well, so just you asked the question how we are. We're fine, alhamdulillah. We thank Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for all the blessings we have. But we have an important topic to discuss today. It's something that our viewers have requested, and we're going back to the topic of addiction. So I'm gonna let's start off with what you had planned, because you've got something very important to start off with, Shaykh Imran. So over to you to start us off today.
Jazakallah Mawlaya. Jazakallah Mawlaya. I want to start with relating back to our last session that we had, alhamdulillah, around this particular topic. And what I want to do, I want to share something with you, some very, very important words, something to reflect over, because I want to set the scene. I want to set the scene for our viewers and our listeners, alhamdulillah. And I want you to listen to this carefully, inshallah ta'ala. I destroy homes, tear families apart, take your children, and that's just the start. I'm more costly than diamonds, more costly than gold. The sorrow I bring is a sight to behold. And if you need me, remember I'm easily found. I live all around you, in schools and in town. I live with the rich, I live with the poor. I live down the street and maybe next door. My power is awesome. Try me, you'll see. But if you do, you may never break free. Just try me once, I might let you go. But try me twice, and I'll own your soul. When I possess you, you'll steal and you'll lie. You'll do what you have to just to get a high. The crimes you'll commit for my narcotic charms will be worth the pleasure you'll feel in your arms. You'll lie to your mother. You'll steal from your dad. When you see their tears, you should feel sad. But you'll forget your morals and how you were raised. I'll be your conscience. I'll teach you my ways. I take kids from parents and parents from kids. I turn people from God and separate from friends. I'll take everything from you. I'll take everything from you. I will take everything from you. Your looks, your pride. I'll be with you always, right by your side. You'll give up everything. Your family, your home, your friends, your money. Then you'll be alone. I'll take and I'll take till you have nothing more to give. When I'm finished with you, when I'm finished with you, when I finish with you, you'll be lucky to be alive. If you try me, be warned, this is no game. If given the chance, I'll drive you insane. I'll ravish your body. I'll control your mind. I will own you completely. Your soul will be mine. Your soul will be mine. Your soul will be mine. The nightmares I'll give you while lying in your bed. The voices you'll hear from inside your head. The sweats, the shakes, the visions you'll see. I want you to know these are all gifts from me. But then it's too late. And you'll know in your heart that you are mine and we shall not part. You'll regret that you tried me. They always do. But you came to me, not I to you. You knew this would happen. Many times you were told, but you challenged my power and chose to be bold. You could have said no and just walked away. If you could live that day over, know what would you say? A letter from drugs. These words
MashaAllah.
are from the perspective of the addiction itself. the narcotics itself. These words are words to reflect. These words are words to know what is the reality of what we are taking. My beloveds, the purpose of this particular poem and to start these words is, do you know what you're getting into? Do you know that what you are consuming or what you're taking, that it will overtake your life? It will completely control your existence, your mind, your body, your soul. This is the reality of this situation. And let me share something with you, Akhil Aziz, Maulaya. I have seen many men in the grip of their addictions. They lose everything. Money, position, honor, their own beauty, the color in their skin, their sight, their tone, their manner. They lose everything, Akhil Aziz. And I want to start with this because this is a very somber thought and somber reflection. Okay, this is the state that we're in. I know people, I know parents who plead to their children, don't do this. But the child has become so gripped with heroin, with crack, with spice or mamba. Akhil Aziz, the grip of this is not easily broken.
Yeah.
It's a reality.
No, it's a reality, Sheikh. And thank you for starting us off with what was actually a very powerful poem. I could feel the reality, the meanings behind those words. It wasn't just words. I think it was realities that somebody's lived and they're sharing. You could feel the actual personal touch there. Very powerful. Can I ask, if you don't mind, if it's possible to share where the poem is from?
The poem was sent to me.
Okay, it was sent to you. Okay,
yeah,
mashallah,
it was sent to
excellent.
me. And they said...
Thank you to the individual who shared it. Jazakallah.
Allah give you barakah, inshallah ta'ala. This was sent to me.
Ameen.
Because what they said to me was that if you share this is from the perspective. This is like a letter to the one who's walking down the path where he's thinking, it's just a spliff, bro. It's just a sniff, bro. Do you know what I mean? I'm just chilling with the boys. But once you have been hooked, you can't let go. And I'm telling you this. I live with individuals like this. I work with people like this. Once you have lost yourself, it's one of the most difficult things. It demands genuine support and help. Your own self acknowledgement, awareness. Oh my God, I am in the bottom of the barrel. This is not easy. This is not easy.
No.
This is not easy.
But starting off on that point, I think, today's we're talking about the topic of breaking the cycle, getting away from addictions. And, personally, when I hear the word addiction, the first thing that comes into my mind is drugs, narcotics, as you mentioned there, crack, heroin, even other forms of drugs, right? But of course, there might be other addictions people have as well. We talked about sugar last time, about the smartphone, about pornography, about gambling. But the psychology is the same. The way the mind is hooked and how it needs the hit and the dopamine and so forth. So today we want to discuss that point. Actually, I think that more or less a starting point there of what is the journey to breaking the cycle, to getting away from the addiction. You mentioned a lot of things. I think you mentioned several points we can discuss in detail today to help our viewers and ourselves, to help others as well, inshallah ta'ala, around us. You work in this field hands-on. You see individuals who've been through this, who are probably in this at the moment sometimes, and they need help and they need support. So the first thing I think you mentioned was to admit that you've got a problem, to recognize awareness. You said
awareness,
acknowledgement. You said acknowledgement. I think that was the word I was looking for. That's acknowledgement. Right. So is this the start of the rectification journey? Is this the start of the breaking the cycle? Where does it start, Sheikh?
It starts from that, but sometimes what happens is just before that, there's a particular period, right, where a human being as an individual, because what you need to understand is, there's two dimensions here. There are those who make money make dollar, get nice cars, nice homes, on the back of those people that they have abused by giving them this type of addictions. Now, whatever type of addiction it may be, someone is making money. Someone
money.
someone is taking advantage. May that be pornography, may that be tobacco, may that be the drug that you bought on the corner of the street, whatever it is, someone is benefiting. That's the reality. Now, what happens is that's one side of the coin. The other side of the coin is the person who becomes an addict, a person who becomes a drug abuser, someone who becomes a crack addict, a heroin addict, right? Someone who can't live without that high, that hit. That's what it is. It's that hit. It's that feeling that, you know what, I need to get away from something. I need to move away from something. I need that hit. I need that hit. That's it. And when the attitude comes into a human being, and the reality of the matter is this, it overtakes their mind. It supersedes logic. You cannot make sense of what you are doing and saying. You get to that place, my brother. This is reality. Now, at this point, it's not that easy to come to a state of acknowledgement. Maroi, I got a problem, bro.
It's easy to say it, but to do it is a big challenge at this point.
It's a big challenge. And behind me, and Maulana, if you push this back, I want to say this.
Yes, I'll push it back. Sorry.
Yeah, look what it says. Never look down on someone unless you're
helping them up.
Exactly. So one of the key things around the individual who is in that state, because what we do is, sharm nahi aandi, no shame upon him. Look at him, a druggie. Look at him, an alcoholic. Look at him, he stinks, bro. Stay away from him. And I'm be share with you, Akhil Aziz. Giron ko uthana hamara kaam hai. To pick up those who have fallen. This is reality. And let me share with you, when the people around them, their mom, their dad, their brothers, their sisters, their community, their neighbors, their friends, then those people, individuals on the street, etc., start understanding this in a very different light, that this person is not only abusing him or herself, in fact, we are also being abused with this. This is our child. This is our brother. This is my father. This is my mother. This is someone who's part of the fabric of my society. I want to say this. Akhil Aziz, Maulaya. One of the first things, because the person who's going through this is not easy for them to snap out. Initially when they got into it, whatever the addiction may be, initially what they got into it must have been a bit of fun, recreationally. I'm just chilling with my boys, bro. That's how it started. But then slowly, it holds the grip around. And you can't let go. Or you can't break away. So that person who's under the grip of whatever the substance may be, whatever the addiction may be, doesn't need this type of attitude. Takoji. What he needs is understanding. What he needs is this sense of, this is my child. And let me share with you, it's not an easy thing to do. It's not an easy thing to do, because the people who become gripped by this, they don't want to see anything. They don't see their mom. They don't see their dad. All they see is an opportunity to get that hit. I can get money from them. I'm going to take some finances from here. I'm going to rob this. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that to get that hit. Maulaya.
Yep.
This is the thing. Now, once that environment comes into existence, which is our deen. Look, we talked about, the first step, right? Because you have to understand there's different types of, ways and steps out there that are used, the 12-step recovery. You know, you have Alcohol Anonymous from the Christian tradition that they have, which has also become a mainstream, steps towards recovery from alcohol or recovery from drugs, whatever it is, or pornography, or whatever type of, addiction it may be. But before all that can happen, the environment has to be created. For example, if a person suddenly realizes, Maulaya, you see a guy who walks into the masjid. Yeah? He's walked to the masjid, but he's got a banana on, a t-shirt on, no arms. He's got tattoos. Yep. He's got a mundri on. Right?
Yep, earring.
Yeah, he's got mundri on your earring. His trousers or his jeans are hanging down. So his kacha is exposed.
Yeah, underwear is exposed.
Yeah, it's exposed to the world.
Too much skin.
And he's come into the masjid.
Ah.
Now.
Ahlan wa sahlan.
No. Akhalazi, Allah give you barakah bi'idhnillah ta'ala. That's not usually the reaction they get. The reaction they get, what are you doing? What's this doing here?
Yeah.
And when he comes in, let me share with you. When he comes in, many times, sadly, not everybody. I'm not generalizing here. I'm saying in certain situations, certain places, certain environments, when this person comes in, what happens? They look at his clothes. They look at his huliya. They look at his state. They look at his face. They go, masjid hai? Have you come to the mosque? Now, you don't know what's brought him through the masjid. You don't know what's hit him. You don't know what loss he's had. You don't know what has made him come to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Something's hit him. But guess what? When he comes to that environment, everybody around him, that environment is toxic. What does it do? It kicks him out. It cuts him off. It alienates him. It pushes him away. Akhal Aziz. And you know what that does? Even though maybe he had intention in his heart. He had intention in his heart, Akhal Aziz, to create change. But the environment wasn't right. This is why I'm starting with this, Maulaya.
Yeah.
Rasulullah ﷺ and the Sahaba Ridwanullah alayhim were people of understanding. You know, Maulaya, we touched on this at the end of the last session. That when alcohol became haram, the Sahaba themselves were social drinkers, were casual drinkers, right? They had the addictions.
Yes.
It wasn't an easy process. Before any ahkam was given, not any ahkam were given, or the hukum that came from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it had to be an environment where people felt comfortable into talking about this, discussing this. Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to create an atmosphere where people did not feel alienated, did not feel, just because you don't have a jubba on, get out of my face. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam grabbed people and brought close to him. Didn't he? So the first step, Akhal Aziz, this is the thing. This is the step of recovery, bro. The first step is people like us need to sort our heads up, bro.
Yeah.
We need to sort our heads up. We are pushing our own away. And what's happened?
I think this is a very, very big point. I wasn't going to start here. You started the real starting point, which before we talk about the person, talk about the people around him. One of the main reasons, if not the reason, that person is what he is in, is not necessarily maybe people, but it's definitely the surroundings. People could be personal surroundings. It could be the community that's around him, the people that are around him or her. But whatever it is, there are factors around a person that have made them move into this particular addiction, gambling, alcohol, drugs, whatever it is, right? And now we have the opportunity every day of our lives, every community, to provide an alternative, to reach out. And these people are searching for that. Because, like you said, when you come on to discussing this point, which I was thinking we're going to go first, the part of the process of acknowledging the problem is the pain it causes, is the life that the person actually lives. It's not a very healthy life. It's a very, very depressing life, very, very tough life. Some people say addiction to food, depression. They think eating can solve their problems. They think going back to that because they get the feeling that hit, and this is the kind of how deeply they are engrossed in that. They're only going to come out of this if there's a support network, which is part of the process, which we're going to mention later. But it has to be, the initiation has to be from somewhere, and it takes two. Just like it took two, the person and the surroundings, to start them off. It takes the person and his or her surroundings, humans and people, and positive reinforcements to start the rectification process and get away from addiction. So one of the questions we had was actually from somebody somebody whose family member was on a particular addiction, and the question they asked was, how can I help? We're not experts, right? We haven't been through psychology and all of this, right? When you're training whatsoever, and somebody in your family now you discover, this is what we're talking about right now, they've got a problem. So first of all, we've clearly outlined, do not judge them, do not say begera, do not say you're evil, you're this, you're that. That's true. It might be that they've done bad things amongst their, during their addiction, the crimes they've committed. But how are you going to stop them? How are you going to help them? This is the question that somebody actually asked Sheikh Saab. So first of all, we've learned right now, be a positive reinforcement, be an opportunity for that person to move away from their problems. But how would you practically now, say you have that situation, family member, and it's you, it's at home, because maybe people on a societal level might not have these issues, or they probably don't want to go towards them. But when it hits you at home, everybody's like, can you help me? Can you help me? Right? As they say, when you get to people's pockets, they get a bit serious, right? Oh, it's going to affect my money. It's going to affect. Yeah. When you get people's houses and homes, then they get serious. So this is a reality that's now entering homes, and people are now, what do? I mean, to be honest, some say get out, don't want to deal with it. This is the reaction of maybe some parents in the minority, but you see it, get out. You done that? You're not my son anymore. You're not my daughter. I don't believe in this. Some of the family want to support, some don't want to support. You're right. I think we are very judgmental as human beings, and I think certain cultural settings have made us even more judgmental.
The way I see it, the way I see it, Maulaya, is like we are the creatures and Allah is the creator.
Yeah, of course.
Allah knows everything. He knows what good, indeed, bad, ugly we do.
Yeah, everything. Nothing can be hidden from him.
So now look from this perspective. Our addiction is what? Guna. Doing sin.
Yeah, it's sin.
Doing masiyah, being doing actions of transgression.
Yes.
We go back to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Of course, that's the whole.
What does he do?
To go back.
What does he do?
Opens the doors.
He keeps his doors open, doesn't he?
Yes, never closes the door.
Question. The first time we go, we ask for forgiveness. Right? We plead, we cry, we scream, we shout, because we're addicted to that sin. Yeah. We don't think about it like this. The sawad that we get in talking about people behind their back. It's that lazza, isn't it? It's that pleasure, isn't it? Yeah. Now, why am I saying it like this? Because the questioner is right. What do I do? You do what your Lord does. You go to the bargah of your Lord. You go to the environment where your Lord is there to support and help you. You go to the masjid. You go in salah. You go into that state to ask forgiveness, to turn away from your sin. Yeah? What does Allah do? Yeah. He forgives you. Then what does he do? You go away because we are addicted to our masiyah, our sin. We go, we still lie, we still cheat, we still backbite, we still do all of that. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala do? You go back to him. What does he do? Does he close his door? No. He keeps the door open. So you go, you do the same thing again. What does he do? He creates that environment. He doesn't judge you. He forgives you. Doesn't he?
Huh.
Right.
Yes.
This is what I'm telling you. This is Sahih Hadith. This Hadith is Sahih.
Yep.
And the third time, when the same person does the same sin, shamefully, he goes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and says, Ya Allah, forgive me. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? I forgive you. Doesn't he say that?
Forgive you.
So in other words, he's creating an environment. Yeah, it's true. Now, he does that. Now, the muhaddiseen say about this particular hadith, if that person committed this sin the same sin 70,000 times, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will say, I will forgive you, my servant. He keeps his doors open. That's the first step. That is how you help people. That is how you help people. We're not here just judge people, put down people. अरे यार अपने गिरबान को खोल के देख कि तुम्हारी हालत क्या है. Look at yourself. Look at your own state. Because it's so easy to point at someone and put him down because he's sniffing something, because he's syringing something, because he's, I don't know what he's doing. He's consuming something. All right? It's easy to put him down, isn't it, bro? But suddenly when you flip it and you start thinking about yourself, I lead, I lie, I cheat, I backbite, I look down upon people, I look at people in the wrong way, false way. You forget that we also get a buzz out of that. That's the way. You do what your Lord does. I don't need to go anywhere else, bro. Learn from your Rabb. Your Rabb has created an environment, which is what? It's not saying that he doesn't give you a lesson. He gives you a lesson, he does everything. But what does he do? He always keeps his doors open. This is our problem.
So this is very, very important. I think the first point that our listeners should be making notes on and being aware of, and I think, not just here, guys, when you're listening, I think this is such an important point. I think it's such a crucial point because everything else stems from this, is you need to go home and share this. You need to talk to your family members. You need to talk to your friends, your families, and say, look, are we not judgmental? We're all guilty. I can look back at my life and say, I'm guilty of this at certain stages, right? We change. We've learned that I can't do that anymore. I need to be this person. You sometimes need a bit of guidance and support, but we can all make this change, easily. It's just a case of how we approach things, right? And this is the prophetic way. This is the divine way that Shaykh Imran just outlined to us. So the first thing I think we need to understand is this really important point Shaykh Imran just mentioned, and the platform for all rectification and growth and process. And I just want to mention the hadith here of the murderer. This murder of 99 people is often used for the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There's a very, very, very important point mentioned in this that people forget. And it's the same point you mentioned here, Shaykh. Where did he attain the forgiveness? It wasn't, you killed 99 people. He asked somebody, where can I find forgiveness? You can't find forgiveness. You're going to go, how can you? What did he do? The number 100. This is what the people feel like doing towards the people who judge them. I've come to you for help. I've come to you're judging me. You're telling me I'm this. I know I'm this. Why am I talking to you? They don't want to be judged anymore, right? What happened? He got judged and he got what? He got angry and he did rounded it after 100, as they say, right?
He did, bro.
And then he met another person. He met another person. What did the person say? There's hope. There's hope. He provided the hope, the environment which you create of hope. This is it. He created that environment of hope. So this goes back to the starting process. People not going to come out of this alone. This is what we first of all learn. He was searching for someone to help him out of that problem he had. People, dear brothers and sisters around us, are searching for helpers, guides, someone, some support, just a smile sometimes, And this is why it's sunnah to smile. But I just want to finish on the point of the hadith, that he was told to go to where? A group of people. He wasn't told to say astaghfirullah straight away. He said, go to the people in this village and you'll find and ask Allah for forgiveness. Sit with them. Salihin, the pious people who live there, stay in their company, be amongst them and ask Allah forgiveness. Maybe you'll forget, there's a chance you'll find forgiveness. Let me know the story where he dies on the way and then angels of punishment come, angels of reward, mercy come, and they fight. He's going to be forgiven, he's going to be punished, he's a murderer. Allah knows what's happening, says measure the distance between the two places. If he's closer to his previous land and he's in the bad place, right, go to hell. If he's in the close to the good one, he'll get forgiven just by going, just making look how powerful that first step is as well. The step wanting to change. People come to us, and this is another point on the hadith. People will come to you with that step, with that in their hearts. That what they have in their hearts is so amazing. The angels wanted to forgive that person. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgave that person without even making a tawbah, without even getting away from the sin or the addiction or whatever. Just the intention to change is something so powerful.
It is
so
powerful,
amazing
bro.
in the human being. So amazing in the human being. This is why when you go back to Allah with that intention, He never says no. Right? This is what the hadith says, and what scholars say. He will never say no because you're going with that intention of change. Yes.
You know what he says? Naam ya abdi.
Yes, responds to you. He engages you. Allah listens. That's what we mean. Allah listens. Allah doesn't say, okay, and just push you. Allah engages that person who has a sincere tawajjuh, this direction, directing yourself to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if somebody comes to us with any need, we talk about anything really, but obviously talking about problems and addictions here, then we need to be that person who supports that builds hope, that gives a chance. And that in itself may be enough. That first moment may be the moment that's going to lead to the rectification process. But if we get the first step wrong, we've destroyed a person's life again. We're responsible in the damage now of that person's life because somebody came to us. And this is why it's important to realize, dear listeners, that when we talk about these issues, you might think it affects other people. Wallahi, this is not how society works. The society is you. Everyone is responsible. Sayyidina Abu Bakr once said, he read the ayah of the Quran. In the ayah of the Quran, it says, if you avoid sin and others do sin, then you will be held accountable. Yeah, and we all know we're not held accountable for the sins of others. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq, the greatest of the companions, said, people read this ayah and they misunderstand this ayah. They think that people, if they do bad and we don't do that, then we are okay. Yeah, that's what you think when you read the ayah. That's what you think. But he says, no, this is not what it means. He says, if there are ills in society and there's wrong going on and we do not rectify them when we can, we do not get involved and we do not support, we do not provide the islah, then we are held responsible.
And let me share.
This ayah has a different context, which means if somebody doesn't pray their prayers, then of course you're not responsible for that person. You have to advise them. Once you advise them, you're responsible. If you're in a position to advise. So we can't just take one isolated Quranic ayah and say, this is how it works. And this comes back to the point here of our sessions and what we're talking about and the viewers that are with us. It's a communal responsibility. There's a concept of communal obligation, communal responsibilities in Islam. And you can't flee from them. You can't pass it on. It's him, it's her. They are our doorsteps. And we are often engaged and have to face these. And we need to be ready. So we spent a long time on this first point, but I think if we get this point right, the next steps, like Shaykh Imran said, actually, there's a 12-step process, there's this process, whatever process the person goes through, I think it will lead to some success because we got them onto a process. But because we can't get them onto a process because of the way we are or the people around them are, it damages us and them and society. So we lose out when we don't provide support.
Look, right? Akhil Aziz, Allah give you barakah bismillah ta'ala. Allah keep you protected inshallah ta'ala. Akhil Aziz, this is it. Wallahi. This is the core of all of this. This doesn't mean that you go now, you're an outie bro. You're a druggie bro. You are zani bro. You're a liar bro. You are a backbiter bro. No. This is not helping him. This is not helping her. No. You see them as your brother. You see them as your sister. You see them as your child. You see them as your daughter, your son. And then you deal with them. And let me share something with you. Ye har aadmi ka khel nahi hai. Not everybody has this capacity. True. Nobody. Like Maulaya has just said, right? You have to have a particular type of engagement with people. Because many people come, they listen to you, they become even worse. Because a sudden sense of light has been created in their heart of hope. And what do? We remove it.
Put it out. Yeah. Blow it out.
Blow
it out. We heavily blow it out.
Heavily pull it out. And Akhil Aziz, this is the starting point. If we really want change for our elders and our youngsters, our sisters and our brothers in our communities, then our own attitude has to change. And wallahi, you may say, oh, this is a culture, we don't change stuff like this. No, we can change. And I'll tell you how we change.
Yes.
You want to hear it? So no. What I have seen, jele oi masla ka rachna na, sare anj kende, mare kari chagye. Before, we point at others. Look at Auntie G's son. He's gone to jail, bro. Look at so-and-so's daughter. She's run off and she's done this, bro. She's in jail as well. But suddenly when it comes home, when it becomes personal, the same thing's happening in your own home. What happens? It wakes you up. If we saw every child, every elder, every youngster as your own, doesn't it change?
It changes
The Prophet
massively,
sallallahu
massively.
alaihi wasallam says, Akhal Aziz, that we are like one ummah. The ummah is like one body. We're just than wahid.
Yep.
Any part of the body is in pain. Any part. The eye, the ear, the whatever it is, the whole body feels its effect. We think, or someone who's hungry or thirsty or doesn't have a house, or someone who is 6,000 miles away, right, being bombarded, which is 100% wrong what's happening. We are much more concerned about what's happening 6,000 miles away, and we don't give a damn about what's happening behind my backyard, bro. This is reality. Walk out, go to the corner of your street, go to the park. You will see your own. They are your own children. They may not have your blood in them. They might not be Jat or Raja or, whatever you are. Isn't it, bro?
Yeah.
This is reality. This is how you change the situation. You make it your own. Yeah. This is how you break the cycle, bro.
Okay, this is Sheikh, how you break it. On. Yeah, Sheikh. So now we've got this. We inshallah, our viewers, and hopefully we'll educate others around us, and those viewing later will hopefully get this point. Okay, now what are the practical steps for the person to improve and remove and get better, and how can we now support? So you're saying let's support. So
there's two ways.
What is it that we need to do now? What are the steps now? Let's just go these steps.
So here, there's two steps that need to be taken.
Okay.
The first one is the individual, once the environment is worked on, creating an environment of understanding, compassion, hope, not pushing people down, but in fact pulling them up. Then the step is about acknowledging that I've got something wrong with me. Because one of the biggest problems is if a person doesn't feel that they're an alcoholic, or they got a problem, they got a porn issue, pornography issue going on, they've got too much shopping going on, or too much, they're spending their money, they're burning their money, and they're not even realizing it. They're robbing their own family to achieve that hit. You're not going to achieve anything. So the first step in rehabilitation, in detoxification, the process is acknowledgement, awareness, and early acknowledgement. This is important. So that's one.
Is there an element of what can we say? Acknowledgement of the problem, but acknowledgement of the pain and the damage you've caused as well.
Not straight away. Because because what needs to be understood is when a person is going through that state of addiction, if they're in a state of nafsi, they only think about themselves. Is number one.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
right?
Number one.
They don't care.
They don't care about anybody else.
Yeah, they don't care about mom, dad, brother, sister, everybody. The majority of the time, that doesn't happen, especially when that substance or that whatever type of addiction that it's in has overtaken the basic logical components of their brain.
Yeah.
So the first thing is about themselves. Is nafsi.
Okay.
That's what it is, and that's how it is. Let me show you something. This is what it is. Let me show you something.
Okay,
I don't know if people can see this or not.
Get it closer. If you turn it sideways, they're perfect.
Yeah, there, yeah.
Who is that?
Sorry about the
in his hand.
Yeah.
Column.
That's it, Akhil Aziz. You got it straight away. The image we know is this one. We know this one. Everybody from Lord of the Rings. Everybody remembers this, yeah?
Yeah.
You see
what happened to him? Can you tell us? Can you explain to our viewers what's the story behind it?
I can explain to you. In fact, in Lord of the Rings, they talk about his story as well. He's a hobbit. That's what he is. He's a hobbit. He had hair. He had, beautiful skin. He looked like a normal person, normal individual. But his addiction was his precious. It was that ring. He became completely asphyxiated with that. He forgot about everything. He forgot about his family, forgot about his home. He left his village. All what he was after was the precious.
No.
That was his addiction. That's what he lived for. That's all he wanted to be for reasoning for his existence. That's it. Look,
Yeah.
That's what his state. Look what he did to
That
him.
was his state. So he's addicted to power.
No, I did in this case. Of course, this is just an example because of people who
Yeah.
understand any type of asphyxiation, any type of
Asphyxiation, yeah.
substance that has overtaken you. This is what it is.
Yeah.
This is immense indulgence in that. Look what he does. He loses everything. He loses his color.
Yeah.
He loses his, his nakshanahar. He lost
Yes.
everything, but he didn't care. He didn't care. In the movie as well, when you watch this and when you read the books as well, this is so prevalent in there. All he talks about is precious. I want my precious.
My precious. Somebody's
I want my
commented that.
precious. That's all he's talking about. Because he wants that hit. He wants to get high. He wants to get that buzz. That's it. My precious. That's all he's talking about. But the thing is, he started like this.
Yeah.
And let me share something with you, Maulaya. I have met many golems. I've met many golems.
Yeah.
Mr. Johnsons and Mr. Thomases and
So
Muhammad's and Abdullah's.
Abdullah's and Dawood's.
Muhammad and
Just a quick
Abdullah's.
thing. Is there no good ending to that? Does he still like that?
No, Maulana, Chneya.
I'm not there.
Maulana, Chneya. We'll come to that in one
Okay,
moment.
we're coming to that. Okay.
Maulaya, look, this person who has come in my case, when I meet them, they are usually on the detox wing.
Yeah, they're on the recovery.
They're on there.
Yeah.
Smash out their face. The clothes are stinking. The state of their face, there's no color in the skin at all. There's no color.
Yeah.
Maulaya, look. There's no color, there's nothing. All right, in that state. They come in like this.
I've seen that.
Suddenly, they're in that state. They don't want to speak to me because they're not fully there. They don't know. They've been brought in because they violated something or broken something, or there was a domestic violence issue because under the influence of alcohol or influence of drug or something like that, they've been slammed and they've been brought in.
Yeah.
Maulaya, look, let me share something with you.
Bismillah.
I have to go back a few days.
Okay.
After a few days, suddenly they come up to me. Imam Sahab.
Imam.
Sorry. No, someone Muslim. Someone not Muslim.
Okay.
Someone not
So
Muslim.
did they call you Imran or Imam?
Usually the English lads call me Iman. Iman.
Iman, yeah.
Iman. So they go Iman. And
Iman,
Muslim lad, they'll call us like Imam. Right? So that's
Imam,
fine.
okay.
So they call. So they say that. They go, Imam, you came down. I'm very sorry. I'm looking at this guy and thinking, who's this guy? Like I forget because suddenly there's life in his face. There's color in his skin. He's got hair coming back. I'm like, what?
Wow.
Because suddenly what's happening? He's had 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 days where he's not touched his precious. He's not taken that sip. He's not taken that sniff. Right? And I'll tell you what happens. It's amazing. It works the other way. The color comes back in the skin.
Color comes back, Andy.
Into the skin. The hair grows again.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Right?
Yeah.
The state of that person is immense of recovery. But let me share something with you.
MashaAllah.
It's not easy. It's not easy. Because if that acknowledgement is not there, it doesn't take place. So that's one. Number two, CD is this. When there is no acknowledgement, then there has to be intervention. This is why the environment is important. There have to be those loved ones, those friends who love you, who care for you. They will have to put, sometimes it's hard to do this.
Okay.
They have to sit you down. They talk to you.
Yeah.
Right? They converse with you.
They have to get you to realize. They have to get you to acknowledge. Right. Okay. So this is the kind of goes to that question. How do I help? If somebody is recovering and has acknowledged, then you support them and you will go on to the next steps.
Yes.
But if they haven't got there, then it's our job to help them get there. Positive reinforcement. Getting them to acknowledge.
Getting them to acknowledge.
Okay.
So that's step one. In step one, there are two ways of doing it. But in the second way, you have to be immensely empathetic. You have to hold empathy for that person. You don't know why they are in that state. You don't know what's brought them to that state. It is highly, highly important. Number two, after this, once this has taken place, right?
Yeah.
Then you have something called consideration.
Okay.
This is a very there's a 12-step, there's 7-step. I'm giving something
I've
very
come across
simple,
some of this.
right?
Yeah.
There's many different ones, but this particular one, all right, we are talking about different types of addictions, and this is just an example. There's a second one is consideration, right? The individual, because this is highly important, you should have consideration about yourself. I am human. I am weak. Yes. But guess what? I'm better than this. I'm honorable. I'm loved by people. People want me. I'm significant. And guess what? You are significant. Right? I know you have fallen in your heart and your mind, but you are significant. You need to have some sort of consideration for yourself. This has to be built. Yani, if a person has completely, one of the hardest things for a human is what? To acknowledge I am something. I am something. I am a father. I am a mother. I am a brother of someone. I am a husband of someone. I am a son of someone. Yeah. I am a upright, citizen in a community, society to help and support people. I'm worth something. I'm worth something. I'm worth helping. I'm worth saving. These type of statements. I am worth saving.
Yes.
And in the concept, but in the concept in Deen, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? Ashraful makhlukat.
Yes.
You are the best of, you are the most honorable of creation, oh man. And look, of course, we say this verse of the Quran is directed to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? And no doubt, Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is Ashraful makhlukat, right? Now, he's the highest, but through him, even people who have been trodden, who have lost everything, who have completely been engulfed in whatever they've been engulfed in and drowning, even they are being told by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you are ashraf al-makhlukat. What is this? Having this sense within yourself. I have value. I have value. So that's the second. And this is not an easy process. Because
okay, good. So second of all, helping somebody realize their self-worth, and that's not wrong sometimes to realize we are fathers, we are spouses. If I don't help myself to become better, I'm damaging other people. I myself.
Mullah, can I say something?
Hey, go on.
See, that's secondary. The primary is I am something.
Yes.
पहली चीज तो मैं हूं
That's
ना.
what I mean.
अगर मैं नहीं हूं, अगर मैं
Yeah.
नहीं हूं, if I am nothing, I don't care.
Nobody anything.
I don't care about my kids.
Yeah.
I don't care about my wife. I don't care about my mom. I don't care about my dad. Mullah, I'm saying something very, very how should I put it? Allahumma salli wa sallam barik sallam. Barik.
Specific.
Very
fine
specific.
point.
Specific. Very fine point.
Could you reword it for our viewers then? Could you say it again?
I will say it again.
It's clear what you're saying.
I will say it again.
Yeah.
The second stage is this: to have some sort of consideration for yourself, right?
Okay.
To have izzat for yourself. Okay, look, I am worth saving. I am worth saving because I have some value. I have an honor as a human being, right? So in all types of rehabilitations that takes place, this is a very crucial part, right? That after the environment has been, a place of where they can grow, they have to believe that they have this ability to grow.
Yes.
Right? And
I'm worth saving. I'm worth saving.
I'm worth saving. So once that comes into yourself, then what do? It doesn't mean you're not gonna. It doesn't mean that you're not gonna backtrack. You are gonna backtrack.
Okay.
Be humans, because you still want that hit, because you used to. Your pain is not gone away. Your underlying issue hasn't just vanished. It hasn't. No. It's still there. All you have done is that you have made an intention to rectify, to clarify, to remove yourself from that situation. Innit?
Brilliant.
So this is step 2.
Step 2. Okay.
Then you have something called step 3. Exploring and recovery. Now, this is dealing with the underlying problem. Right? Dealing with the underlying problem. Okay, why am I in this state? I am worth more than this. Why have I become, so addicted, gripped by this substance, this alcohol, this drug, this heroin, this crack, this weed, this tobacco? What's happened? What was the underlying reasoning? Now here, this is one of the most hardest and the difficult steps. Because this is the stage, Allahu Akbar, you are going to open your old wounds.
Yeah.
This is the stage where you're going to touch nerves. This is the stage where you are going to face your fears. This is the stage where you are going to face the most hardest test in your existence. And all because you know you are worth more than this. I am worth helping. I am worth helping. I am much more than this. I am much more than this. My beloveds, once you start doing that, and this is the bit, you have to be around. This is why, mashallah, people go in for recovery. They're around people with similar attitudes, similar thinking, similar reflection, right? Similar problems or concern. They can empathize with you, or they can in fact sympathize with you, because they know there's something more than just the substance. Because what we do as the bystanders, or people who are looking on as a third party, we look at the abuse that person is doing to themselves. We don't know the reasoning behind the abuse.
Yeah.
We're thinking, pee ke toto hai. Sharm nahi aandi is haram hai. We say sharm nahi aandi is haram hai.
Yeah.
We don't. 1 minute. Do you know why he's doing that?
Yeah. The cause. Inside of him.
This is why exploring is important. This is the third step. Taking off the layers. All right.
So this comes with I would say then you need obviously people to counseling. Then somebody to listen to you, to help you just kind of an ear to kind of just talk to, just to listen to you, to recognize that there's a reason behind this, and you need to share that with someone. You can't keep it to yourself, is what you're saying. You gotta let it out. You gotta share it with someone else, and it's not with just anybody, with somebody who's ready to support you, ready to help you on this road of recovery. So this is the next step. Okay,
that's one way of doing it, but even for that person, because many times, because of their self-inflicted abuse that they have done to themselves, Akhil Aziz, the people who use syringes, I've seen this with my own eyes. They can't find their vein in their arm. They've started to inject their neck. They can't find the vein in their neck. They start to inject in their groin. There's genuine abuse, self-inflicted abuse, just to get that hit. The stage is really difficult. So there is an underlying problem, whatever that is, right? Whatever that is, whatever type of abuse that is, whatever, it might even be abuse. It might be loss of something.
Yeah.
Or just because you are a part of a certain community, you have been looked down upon. Let me share something with you. Akhil Aziz, I don't know if you know of the organization Tell Mama, right? It's an organization, online platform where like Muslims themselves, because of Islamophobia, right? They are going to them and they're talking about their stories. Some of them stories are really horrific. How they're being abused, how they're being looked down upon, how they're being belittled. They have fear, right? Some of them have become so engrossed in that they need some sort of sanity. They feel they've gonna hit some sort of, I don't know, engulfed in some sort of lifestyle. They've engrossed themselves in a certain type of way, and that becomes negative for them over time. That has also happened. So here at this stage, you're exploring underlying, and then you start exploring, how do I recover from that? Because you have retracted, you have gone back into yourself, you have gone back into your memories, you have gone back into your experiences of life, Hannah, And now you are going to come back to reality. Now, this is a slow process.
Okay.
This is a slow process. This doesn't demand, or we'll have 10 sessions and after that you'll be perfect. No. This is an individual journey. This is that is your journey, nobody else's. So this is the process, because you have to understand is, as human beings, the route we take towards wrong or something which ultimately gives us pleasure, but we sometimes don't realize the negative impact. There's a route you've taken. Maulana, if you might, for example, if you want to go to town center, you will take a particular route. When I go to town center, I'm going to take a different route. It could simply mean it's where I live in town. It could just mean that. That's the issue here. Every individual has their own journey of recovery. Own journey of recovery. This is important. For people of faith, people of La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, people of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, one very crucial, essential part is their relationship. And I'm going to be very clear with you. When you do not have respect for yourself, izzat for yourself, you're disgusted by yourself, Rabb doesn't mean anything to you. Rasulullah doesn't mean anything to you, because you're disgusted by yourself. Once that comes in, you get to the point of where the problem is, Hannah, then you sense, you create, then your Rabb, your Rasulullah, your deen starts making sense to you. And in religious-based recoveries, in religious-based interventions, this is a very powerful component, very, very powerful component, right? But you also have to understand is, in a certain religions, there's usually a guilt trip. It's a guilt trip, right? Chitar pesi, chalo chaliye, right? But our deen is not like this. Our deen, if we looked at our deen very carefully, we will marvel upon what Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has given us. Okay? It's amazingly understanding. And oh my God, it's amazingly patient. It is amazing. Look at what the hukam is. You've done guna, you've done sin, you've abused, you've done whatever. Your chances is when? Until your ruh leaves your body.
You've got all your life.
Isn't it true? And according to
the chances, you've still got a chance in the grave. You still got a chance in the day of judgment. You still got chances. It's not but the biggest chance probably is here, right?
Yeah. Even then, that's what I'm trying to say. That's the beauty. Allah knows he'll slip. She'll slip. She's gonna slip, right? But that step of knowing that relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and I want to say this because the type of intervention that we do, myself or colleagues and etc., and yourself, Maulana, majority is faith-based, religion-based, all right, intervention. Now, when this is important on the basis of recovery, the relationship of the person with themselves and their Lord, to see their Lord not as judgmental, but to see their Lord as mercy. Ar-Rahmati ghadab, sabaq ghadabi, we call it, that my mercy supersedes. My rahmah supersedes my anger. So that for a religious person of faith, person of iman, person of la ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, it is essential to have that. Is there anything you want to say around this, Maulana?
No, you reminded me of a story that, because we're transitioning through various points here, I just remembered a story actually, which goes back to the environment, and not the environment, but also the people around you. And we hope we have great people around us to help us. There's a story of Imam Abu Hanifa, rahimahullah ta'ala, who had a drunken neighbor. He had a drunkard neighbor addicted. So every night his neighbor would come back singing songs and poetry. One of the poetry he would do, it was Ada'uni, wa ayya fatin ada'u. They have lost me, they have squandered me, have destroyed me. And what a noble man, what a fatan, young lad and chivalrous person they've lost. ليوم كريهة, for a bad day. So they basically is a line of poetry to say that I'm such a great person and they wasted me. And drunk and out of his head, and he'd go every night. Imam Hanifa knows and he hears this every night. And one day, Imam Hanifa doesn't hear this. So Imam Hanifa is worried. He's not, finally, no drunkard next door. He's like, where is he? I don't hear the poetry. He goes, he's in jail. Oh no, my neighbor's in jail. Look at Imam Hanifa, this positive, non-judgmental kind of approach, right? Because you need to go help him then if he's in jail.
Concern.
Yes, so he goes to the jail. He goes, and obviously it's Imam Hanifa going to the jail, one of the great imams, one of the great scholar. So he says, look, I've heard that you got so and so and everything, and he said, yeah, he's here. He goes, can I come in and speak to him? He goes, yeah. So he goes to him. First thing he says to him, he goes, did we forget about you? Did we lose you? You used to say every night. You wasted me. He goes, did we waste you? And he goes, look, Bismillah. He goes, he spoke to the jailer and everyone. He goes, look, I'll look after him. I'll take him home. He took him home. And not only did he take him home, the story, he looked after him. He helped him. The man did tawbah. The man changed his ways because he found that person around him, his own neighbor, who was waiting for the time. Imam Hanifa wasn't like, who cares about him? No, Imam Hanifa wanted to help. Because you got to find the right time and place and approach. And when he had the opportunity, he didn't let it go to waste. And look how he changed the life of a person. And this is what, I was just thinking of that and how, you need somebody there for you. And sometimes, your relationships, you don't even know who's going to help you sometimes, right? And this is why it's important we all come into the mold and kind of help each other. So yeah, Mola, if you want to carry on next few steps, inshallah, so we can get a few more points in for today, inshallah.
The next step is related. And I always try to, present it in this particular way because, of course, we are talking to people of La ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah, people of faith.
Yeah, most
people of Deen al-Islam. So I bring them back to what is the tradition of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
Yeah.
In the Holy Quran, when we talked about the verse of the Holy Quran al-Kareem, which talks about the acknowledgement of right and wrong. So we've done all of that to this stage. Right?
Yeah.
We get to a place of detoxification. In other words, now this is the early stage of recovery.
Yeah.
So you've explored yourself, you've gone to the bottom of whatever the issue or concern is. Now there is a sense of recovery. What's the procedure? What are the processes? Yeah. What works for me? What doesn't work for me? How do
I get better?
Who do I, all of that.
Yeah.
The next one is the early recovery stage. In the early recovery stage, no one is saying this. Look, you take 20 and say, hey, one day, 24 hours, that's it, bro. You're going to go cold turkey. No.
Yes. No.
Adeen doesn't say that. In fact,
we've got a comment actually here. A similar kind of thing says, one step at a time, they can reach the top of the mountain and leave the addiction. But people need to take the first step, one step at a time, right? If you look at the mountain, you're not gonna try it. Forget it. If we do that, we go say, let's climb Snowdon. Let's look at the big thing. Forget it. But if you just think of it step by step. By the way, myself and Mola, we climbed Snowdon together. I just remembered the first time I went up Snowdon was with yourself actually.
Allah give you barakah.
We had a bit of an episode as well. We got lost on Everest. You see the movie Lost on Everest.
My
we
beloved.
lived that. We lived that.
Bola, it was beautiful being lost with you.
Yeah, it was. It was. We had brother Ahmed with us, brother Adnan. We can't forget that group that got lost on Everest. 5 hours. But on the wrong route in the middle of nowhere, fields. We came on the opposite side of the mountain. So our group was on that side, 10 kilometers, I think it was on that side. We ended up on. So if you go on the wrong road, little bit, just one little thing, 10 miles apart, we were in.
Maulaya, the one who has not lost himself cannot find himself.
That's it. So this coming back to this point, the mountain might seem big, and we did get lost on Snowdon, but if you look at it step by step, a lot can be achieved. So this is a very important point, not to go cold turkey. Yes, Bismillah.
No, there's nothing like that. No, this is not the tradition. I know there are very strong-willed individuals who say, that's it, bro. Yeah. No more for me. Not everyone's like that. Because the rule is, in any system, the rule is according to the majority. The majority do not have the ability to go cold turkey, right? There is a minority and there's a very small minority. So now the stage is the slow process of removing yourself from what has gripped you, right? Now is the process. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. يا أيها الذين آمنوا لا تقربوا الصلاة وأنتم سكارى حتى تعلموا ما تقولون ولا جنبا إلا عابر السبيل حتى تغتسلوا إلى آخر الآية. Now this verse, this is the process of detoxification now. Hi. Slow process of removal. The Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, "O you who believe." Okay? Do not...
Say, Sheikh, so what surah is this?
This is from Surah An-Nisa, verse number 43.
Okay, Surah An-Nisa, verse 43.
Yeah. Where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, do not go near prayer when you are intoxicated until you know well what you say, what you are mentioning. Know when you are under an obligation to perform a bath. Cleanse yourself. Now, this is amazing. When you look at the modern recovery processes or detoxification or to remove the grip of whatever you are under the influence of, this is amazing that you find this in the Quran, right? Because this is what exactly modern interventions emphasize. Do not make people go cold turkey. Take it step by step. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? When salah is near, when you're in a state of, when you're going for prayer, make sure that you are not in the state of alcohol. Any other time you can. Naturally, before salah, you're going to make sure that you are aware of what's going on. Aren't you?
Yeah.
Hosh khawas are going to be on the level.
You have to, yeah.
Afterwards as well. So what's going to happen? You've reduced your time of drinking.
You have to, because you now have to. It's brilliant.
Yeah, very clever. This is very powerful. This is very powerful. You know, this is according to what our modern recovery processes talk about.
Yeah, this is what you talked about earlier. You know, the prohibition of alcohol was in stages. This was one of the stages.
At this point,
alcohol itself or wine and intoxicants weren't completely outlawed or
no,
haram.
They weren't.
It was a case of you can't come and pray if you're doing this. Now you're going to pray 5 times a day. Okay, that means for 5 times a day, which means an hour before, an hour, a few hours before, a few hours after. I can't do this.
I can't do this.
Very small time gaps to do what you got to do that thing. So you haven't stopped a person from doing it. You're still giving them that.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
What are they doing?
You are removing the influence of whatever that addiction is. This is the 4th stage.
Yes. So removing the influences that cause the addiction.
Yes,
but not
slowly.
Not completely, but slowly. Yes.
Slowly.
Gradually. I think gradually.
You used to take 20. You should take 20. Now take 18. You used to take 18. Now you take 16. Now I'm talking about smoking. I'll give an example of smoking. Right? Okay. It's a slow process. Okay? It's a slow process. And then, suddenly now you're on 0, and that's it. No. Because you still have, it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. Right? Then you have to maintain that.
Okay.
Now this is the last stage.
Okay, before you carry on there, I just want to you just click something. I remembered a long time ago. I was in Sheffield, where my local masjid is, and we had an event. It was a very nice event. You know, we had like Quran and Hadith, and we had a talk, and it's a really good event. It was a community event. There's a lot of people there, and I remember there was a convert brother there as well. He's Muslim for many years, probably decades, right? But he was there, and he had brought somebody with him, and then we were talking to him, and he says, "I've got to go. I'm like, "Why don't you stay for longer?" He goes, No. We've got somebody at home. He's addicted to alcohol, and we take turns looking after him. We can't leave him alone. We have to be there for him and with him and accompany him. So I've just taken time out to come to this gathering, and mashallah, thank you. He was saying how good it was, etc. Alhamdulillah. But I've got to go back because it's my duty. So it was we have to take turns to even come to the namaz and stuff, right? But I thought to myself, subhanAllah, I didn't know at that time. I had no clue really of how it works. But there's got to be that support network. There's got to be somebody who's just that there's somebody around you and supporting you, really reinforces that I'm not going to do this. That really helps you from staying away and preventing you from doing something silly, etc. So yeah, so that just
And this
thought
is
I'd throw
called,
that in there when you mentioned that.
this is
You go ahead.
perfect, because it perfectly works with the following thing. This is called active recovery now.
Active recovery.
It's called active
Okay,
recovery.
active recovery.
Now, what active recovery is, where you have got to a place, right, where you have reduced to a place where the grip of that substance has loosened over you.
Yeah.
In other words, majority of the day is in a state of awareness of what's going on around you, right?
Yeah.
So you are not consuming 5, 6, 10 hours only on the internet, watching this and watching that. Oh, that's good. Oh, this is this. Or completely engulfed in that. Is reduced to a place where it's gone to maybe a minute, 2 minutes, or 4 minutes. We're not saying it's going to go like this.
Yeah.
Now you'll get to a place where there is zero. This is called active recovery. Okay, you've gone through the whole process. You got to a place. Now the step after this is called maintenance.
Active recovery, maintenance.
Because what maintenance does, Akhil Aziz, is now you are maintaining that state. Now that doesn't mean that you're not going to go back. This is important. But what's happened through this whole process, you have been given the tools, the mechanisms. If you slip, you can come back. Because now you have more value for you. Yes, now you have much more value for yourself. You have dealt with those underlying problems, underlying abuse, underlying traumas. Alhamdulillah. All right? Not that they're not going to come back and be a problem again. But now you have learned, you have possessed, right, the right tools and mannerisms or skills and abilities to deal with that problem. You're not going to hit the bottle because you're stressed or depressed. You're not going to take a sniff, or you're not going to take a spiff, or you're not going to take this or that. You're not going to do that. Or you're not just going to, just because
you're not going to go and put money on that and this, that, the other.
I'm going to go and gamble on something. Or you're not just going to go to the fridge and that looks mundane way of an engagement with your food or whatever. What has happened? You have much more control over that. Now, this is called maintenance. Now, in maintenance, this is fragile. You have to understand, an individual has gone through a process of detoxification. Something that used to occupy majority of their life, right, has been removed from them. Here, and I mean, let me share something with you. I always say, you are not when you are at maintenance, you are not standing at the peak of the mountain. You're at the summit.
Yeah.
That's why you are, and you're looking up. Because what you are looking towards is your journey of progression now. You have to fill that time in. You have to fill in it something with positivity. You have to fill it with, activities which are, self-developing, education, learning, sports, which help you physically. Do activities which help you physically, mentally, spiritually. Time for your father, time for your mother, time for your wife, time for your children, time for your time for your elders, time for your youngsters, time for your community. Give your precious time to help others now. Those who have who are going through the same type of experiences, same type of problems, right?
Yeah.
Now, by helping others, you are creating value for yourself. You're creating more respect and honor for yourself. It doesn't mean you're not going to slip.
Yeah.
Wasn't it? Well, see, did you know Richard Brand?
Branson or Brand?
Brand.
No, I don't know. I've not heard of it.
Richard Brand, I think so nice. Allah maaf kare if I don't know, can't remember his full name.
I'm sorry.
Richard Brand is a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. Maybe one of our viewers can tell me exactly.
Maybe that's why I don't know.
He's a comedian. He's a stand-up comedian. No, but he is a recovering or an addict.
Okay. The only comedian that comes to my mind, I don't want to mention his name, but yeah. Go ahead.
It's a recovering addict. Now, whenever they ask him in any interview, right? They said to him, all right, so how's your recovery and everything? He goes, a day at a time. I have done
Yeah.
12 years. It was 12. I don't want to, because I did 12 years, so many days. But then he says, a day at a time.
Day at a time. And this comes into the concept, I think, maybe touch on this as well, of relapse, right?
Yes.
So you said maintenance, but one of the things that can happen in maintenance is relapse. Then you
Yes.
go to that pre-contemplation part, and then so you got to go back into the whole process again, right?
Yes.
So I think relapse is the important part because it happens. It's a
Yes.
reality. But we're coming to the end, Sheikh Saab. I just want to mention one point. I'm going to hand over to you for your final kind of comments as well. One thing I want to mention, which is a bit, our viewers might think, oh, wait, where's he going with this? Or what is he trying to do? I've got no agenda whatsoever. My intention from what I mentioned right now is sincerely what I believe is part of the solution. We had a seminar in our Centre in Guidance Hub in Manchester on depression and mental health and so forth. And one of the individuals asked a question, what's the cure? Right? You can take the antidepressants, you can go to counseling, you can go to what? One of the individuals who had been through this, he was courageous enough to stand on stage and say, I've been through it. I've been to the NHS. I've been through a counselor, whatever it is, this mindfulness and all that. And you know what got me off it?
Mm-hmm.
Surah Al-Baqarah.
Allahu Akbar.
What did I just say? Surah Al-Baqarah. And he said, my actual therapist was a Muslim and she tried all sorts with me. And she said, you're a Muslim. Why don't you read the Quran? Why do you Surah Al-Baqarah? He goes, what's going on? He went and read and he all of a sudden found the change. What I'm saying right now, guys, for addiction, and this goes back to the hadith as well, go to the gatherings of dhikr. This is where we find, this is where you find that support network. This is where you find people who will help you, who won't judge you. Masjid is one thing and people are one thing, but the people of dhikr, they welcome. You get Langar Sharif sometimes, they feed you for the sake of feeding you. They want your company, right? And I've seen this. I've been traveled, several parts of the Muslim world. And trust me, people don't live in the same levels, living standards as we'd call high and so forth. But I've never seen happier people. The tradition they have, they sit on the floor, they've got the simplest of belongings, they've got the simplest of utensils and housing. Yet they smile with such a smile and they have such a presence of, happiness in the heart. You think to say, where did they get this from? Where they got this from? They have the remembrance of Allah. They have the connection to Allah in their communities. And this is how Islam spread. This is how Islam reached the hearts of people. They help the poor. They are concerned. They're the most generous. They don't have much. And it's not about how much you have to be generous, but they're the most generous of people, the most concerned of people. And where does this come from? It comes from the places where the remembrance of Allah is mentioned, where the Quran is recited, where Allah is said, where La ilaha illallah is said. So my advice to people and my way of solution, one way is one of the factors that will really help is bring people to the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Even if you just sit there, don't talk to anybody, don't tell anybody about who you are and just go home. Just sit in the gathering.
Mullah, let me share something with you.
There
was a brother who was invited by another, mashallah, Sufi brother who said, come with me, my brother. I want you to come and, he didn't say, we're going to do zikr, we're going to do this. He said, come with me, bro. I'm going to, sit with some people and etc. Be really nice.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this guy, this gentleman, and I was told this story by a very close family member of mine. And he goes to me, Imran, when this lad came, the way he looked was, like them goths, like a goth image that we have, particular type of hairstyle and
I know exactly what you mean.
On his eyes,
black
he had
nails,
black nails and eyeliner and mundiri. And
I know exactly what you mean.
The whole thing with the trousers and the massive boots and whatever it was.
I've met people like this.
Now, for this person, he went and sat there. Now, this individual was telling me the story, of course, a family member. He's telling me about this person, and he goes, what surprised him was the way the Shaykh didn't flinch. It was a gathering of zikr, but the important thing is in the way what he saw from the perspective of the person who went there. He goes, he later on mentions this. He spoke, he goes, I came there thinking, what the hell? Where am I going? What is this? But I had gone to these type of people before. So I turned over and I went. Right? He goes, what amazed me was the Shaykh didn't flinch. He didn't say anything derogatory. He didn't look down upon me. He didn't even, you kind of know, like when you get shocked by someone, you can see in someone's face, what the hell?
Yeah.
It didn't shock him.
Yeah.
He goes,
right.
that was my point of change of the lifestyle I was living.
Yeah.
The lifestyle that he was living, okay? And he goes, that what really pushed me. Because I sat through whatever I need to sit through. But the thing that got me was he did not look at me in another way.
Yeah.
In a derogatory way, in a belittling way. He didn't see that.
Yeah.
He saw me as a normal person.
Yeah.
Now, let me Akhil Aziz, I want to say this. A beautiful name of a Sahabi of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wasalam, Nu'man ibn Amr al-Ansari, rahmatullah alayhi.
Rahmatullah alayhi.
Now, radiallahu ta'ala anhu, this Sahabi Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam was one of those Sahaba radiallahu ta'ala anhu, of course, belonging to Banu al-Najjar of Medina, Munawwara, and being one of the earliest Muslims of the city. Nu'man rahimahullah ta'ala was amongst those who fought in battle. He was an upright individual. He was one of the closest companions of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? He participated in the battle of Uhud, Khandaq, in Badr, alongside the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, right? He was, as we say, the joker in the pack. He used to make Prophet sallallahu. He used to make Prophet sallallahu.
I remember. Yes.
This is who he is. In fact, he used to do pranks. He's a bit of a prankster.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And he's done numerous things. There's numerous, stories that you read about him. About him. Okay. It's amazing. They're amazing. Subhanallah. And the truth is, every Sahabi Rasulullah was unique. Man or woman. Unique, yes. It's very unique. So Hazrat Nu'man ibn Amr al-Ansari, rahmatullah ta'ala, radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, was all of this. Outstanding companion of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but he had a vice. He had addiction. He was addicted to alcohol. He was punished for this. He was given the had for this. Not once, but numerous times. The third time, when it is documented, the third time when he was being given the had of consuming alcohol. Who is he? Sahabi Rasulullah sallam. Which company is in? The most purest of companies. True, innit? Purest of companies. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala, this is the third time he's being punished now. Hazrat Umar Farooq radiallahu ta'ala could not control himself. He goes, La'natullahi alayk. May the wrath of Allah be upon you. It is documented that Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam looked at him and he said, La tal'anahu. Do not curse him. Innahu yuhibbullahi wa rasulih. Indeed, he loves Allah and his Prophet.
Subhanallah. Subhanallah.
How many of us do that? Akhil Aziz. How many of us do what Rasulullah ﷺ is doing with his Sahabi Rasulullah ﷺ, who was an who's addicted to alcohol? We don't do it. We don't give him a chance.
Yeah. It's just
قُلْ يَا عِبَادِيَ الَّذِينَ يَسْرَفُوا عَلَىٰ أَنفُسِهِمْ لَا تَقْنَطُوا مِنْ رَحْمَةِ اللَّهِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ يَغْفِرُ الذُّنُوبَ جَمِيعًا إِنَّهُ هُوَ الْغَفُورُ الرَّحِيمُ. Sidi,
Subhanallah.
This is the pinnacle, bro. This is the pinnacle of true hope. Say to my servant, Ya Rasulullah. Which servants? Those who have done wrong, who have fallen, who have been belittled, who have transgressed. Innit? Maulana ye gal hai na?
That's it.
Who have transgressed against what? Against themselves.
That's all of us.
That's all of us. If you abuse yourself, if you've taken alcohol, if you have taken drug, if you have whatever it is, what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? La taqnatu min rahmatillah. Hey, don't despair of the mercy of your Lord. Indeed, Allah yaghfiru dhunuba jami'a. Indeed, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will forgive all of your sins. Indeed, He is all forgiving and all merciful. This is who our Rabb is. And we are His creatures. Why can't we do this?
Sheikh, you reminded me when you were talking about, you mentioned the Quran, and you said, and I want to actually mention this point here, a very important point, that we believe in the medicine. We want the doctors, if you're viewing, to send in your input and so forth, and we've got to take the whole approach. Islam doesn't negate things. Islam, regulates. It tells you right, wrong. It tells you, yes, it can be done. Bismillah, use it. It's a mechanism. Yeah. And the one I'm presenting for is from the tradition I'm from, which is the Islamic tradition, which is the Quran. We're believers here. And as a brother here, I just want to put the ayah up. He's mentioned, Brother Saif, mashallah, from Halifax. He's mentioned Surah Isra, ayah 17, ayah 82. Surah 17, 82. And we send down the Quran, which is a healing. وَنُنَزِّلُ مِنَ الْقُرْآنِ مَا هُوَ شِفَاءٌ وَرَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ.
رَحْمَةٌ لِلْمُؤْمِنِينَ.
To those who believe, right? So we know that there is a cure in the Quran. We know that there is a cure in the remembrance of Allah. It doesn't take away from all the steps we need to take and the practical approaches. We that's what we actually wanted this.
This is for maintenance.
Yeah,
this is maintenance.
This is my point. When we come to the maintenance, how do you do it? Look, bring people to the house of Allah, bring people to the gatherings of the dhikr, the remembrance of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I want to mention a story, actually, very story I remembered now of related to this, of words and gatherings. There was a great sheikh in Syria, in Damascus, called Shaykh Ahmad Harun. Shaykh Ahmad Harun, rahmatullah alayhi, was known worldwide. Scholars from around the world came, visited him, and mashallah, he was a very pious man. A simple person, though. He was what we'd call ummi. He didn't read and write when he was young. Later on, he read and he was able to read and write, but his writing was very large. When you read it late on, it's large writing like children. So anyway, he used to have a lesson in his home. He used to be a knowledgeable person and a very pious person. So one day, as he was, people coming into his home for the class, a doctor was coming, a physician, and he was in the entrance area talking to somebody and reciting Quran, like what we call dam. He was doing dam or ruqya. He was reciting Quran and shifa and fatiha. So the doctor said, "Oh, Shaykh Ahmad, what good are your words? Where are the doctors? Send them to us if they've got illnesses, right?" So the Shaykh looked at him and said, "Theek, we'll deal with this one later." He didn't say anything to him. He went inside and they started the class. Yeah, class was going on, and the Shaykh said, "Look, what words going to do? What words can affect the person, right? Send them to us. Medicine is what they need. They need treatment, right?" So he said, "Theek," went inside. So they sat there and they're having the gathering. And the Shaykh is teaching. He's, I don't know, he'll be teaching Quran, Sunnah, Hadith, Tafsir. He do a class, talk about, good things. And during the class, he saw the doctor, yeah, and he said, as he just randomly took him, look at the doctor, and he didn't say obviously, what do you call it, like actual foul language, but he kind of said donkey, and that doctor's like, "Hey, did he just call me a donkey? Like, what's going on here? Did somebody hear that?" And everybody's like, "Something's going on here." Everybody's picking it up, but nobody's obviously just carry on. The Sheikh's being very, subtle about it. "I've got a point here. Don't stop me." And nobody say anything. And everybody realizes he's got something going on. So after a few more minutes, he goes back to the guy and he goes, in Arabic, they got different words, himar, kaddish, you beast, this, that, the other. So he's like, "Hey, it's embarrassing. Like, I'm sure he's saying it at me. Who else is there?" So he's getting worked up and angry. And all of a sudden, the third time the Shaykh says something, says, "Shaykh, I've had enough. You can't call me names and you can't say this, that to me." Shaykh says, "I thought you said words don't affect people."
Allahu Akbar.
So I thought you said words don't affect people. And he thought, oh, Shaykh Saab's taught me a lesson that I'll never forget for the rest of my life. Words have an effect. When you come to the recitation of the Quran, it's the biggest positive energy and effect you'll find in your life. The words of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So thank you to Brother Saif for his post and what you mentioned as well, Shaykh Saab. Put together, remind me of that story. And and this is from our religion, by the way. That doesn't negate, doesn't mean here, and we've got to balance things, right? Doesn't mean you don't take treatment, and every time you got illness, you just read the Quran. No, you take the treatment, you take the means, and this is a form of the means as well. And it's a big part of the means.
Dua with dawa.
Yeah. With dua. Exactly. We said this before. Make dua and take the medicine.
Dua.
Right? Dua is calling upon Allah. And turning to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala through other means, they're all a form of approaching Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So that's what I wanted to share. Shaykh Saab, any final comments from yourself? Any final points you wanted to mention before we close off today? It's been a beautiful session. I don't want to end this session today. It's been
Allah
so
give you barakah,
productive and well. And thank you to everyone's comments. I just want to share some comments from Cool Beans here. I don't know who it is, a brother or sister. If you never plant the seed, how do you expect the plant to grow and give fruit? Your seed is the intention, and waiting for the plant to grow is a struggle. And when you are fully clean, it's your fruit. Brilliant. And then it says you need support. It's like when a plant is growing, it needs strengthening before it can carry and give fruit. Sometimes wind and other things are hitting that plant and making it fall, but eventually it gets strengthened after all them obstacles and gives fruit. So it's going to be a challenge. It's going to be a beautiful comments. Thank you for sharing. Allah bless you all. Over to Cool Beans, a nice name as well. Over to you, Shaykh Saab. Any final sort of points or comments for our viewers?
All I want to say, Akhil Aziz, Allah give you barakah, bismillah ta'ala. What we have discussed and spoken about is the process of recovery.
Yeah.
But it cannot take place until we do not have real understanding for those people who are going through that process.
Yeah.
Ikhwan wa akhawat, just reflecting and leaving with you these words which the Shaykh himself has uttered. The words we say to others leave an impact. Be careful what you say to a person who's an alcoholic, who's a druggie, right? Who's under the influence of particular type of substances. Be careful. Because that will impact their psyche and their being. Be kind. Be loving. Never look down on someone. Never look down upon them. Unless you are trying to raise them up.
Jazakallah khair, Shaykh. Thank you for being a part of today's show. Thank you to all our viewers who tuned in. Please do share the link with us. Please do refer, others, subscribe to the channel. Suggest topics, please do suggest topics so we can talk about a few things. We've got quite a few lined up. There have been several suggestions, but we're always wanting your input and your taking part. We love the fact that you comment and so share things, and we would like to share every single comment, but we try and pick out the ones that are the most relevant and inshallah benefit our other viewers as well. So thank you all for today. Thank you, Shaykh Imran, as usual, and we see you next Saturday for our next podcast. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.